first live draw here on for Accidental Centaurs. I'm John Lotshaw here at Accidental Centaurs. Hello. Sorry about that. Live TV, isn't it wonderful? All right. Well, tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to be working on a page from the script for Accidental Centaurs. This is my script book. We'll go through that in a moment. Then I'll show you the materials that I'll be using tonight as well, and then we'll get started. First off, this is the master script book for Accidental Centaurs. I have, as you can see here are the various pages. First off, also, I want to apologize for the banding that you see in here. That's being caused by the lights. The lights, LED lights, they don't run continuously. They flicker, and incandescent lights flicker also, but they stay lit when the power is off. LEDs don't, and so that's why you're seeing this banding that's kind of going up and down like this. I'm going to see about getting some kind of incandescence or something in here to light this without the banding. So again, I apologize for that. All right, going back, this is my, as I said, this is my master script book. This is where I have the script for the story that we're working on now, which is Negative Spaces. And as you see, these are the completed pages. So soon I have a page done and complete, and I need to reprint these because these are just way too dark. I printed out and put it in the book. These are the pages we're working from, and what I've done is I will draw it out as just basically as doodles here. As you can see, these are just kind of basic doodles. A little bit of spoiler here. I'm going to go long enough for you to actually read what it says. This is what I work from, and it lets me.
I'm not sure what you said there.
Thank you, Siri. You're not in tonight's show. So this allows me to lay out what I'm going to do, get a basic idea for story, layout, dialogue, things like that. Of course, this story doesn't have any dialogue. This story is it's pantomime. So there we are, and all right. So let's get started, shall we? First thing I'm going to need is I'm going to need my paper. And I'm going to need my dog to get out of the way. Jessie, move, sweetheart. That's a good girl. Jessie wants to help, but she doesn't draw very well. The paper that I use is Bristol board from Strathmore. It's basically their 200 series paper. Well, actually, it is their 200 series paper, so right there. But it is pre-lined for comic pages, and so that's what I like to use. It's smooth, got a smooth texture on it, as you can see, smooth, and it's pretty good paper. So I'm going to set the script out of the way here for now. Set it up here where I can see it. And the first thing I'm going to do is grab number 2. And I'm going to label this page. So let's go to this Accidental. And it's Negative Spaces. And this is issue 7, I think. And this is page number 13. All right. Now, first thing I need to do is mark off my panel boundaries. As you see here on the script, I've got 2 up here that will be evenly divided, 2 in the middle that will be 2/3 and 1/3, and then another 2 that will be evenly divided. So, using a T-square. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my vertical, or run the lines horizontally. Pencil sharpener. First thing I'm going to do is line that up there and there. And this will approximate where the panel boundaries will go when this is scanned and put into the computer. Now, the next thing I need to do is do the vertical, and since these two and these two are equal widths, and then this is 1/3, the paper is already marked up in the thirds and half. So what I'm going to do is line this up and then do these two. And then line up here. To get the third. Okay. So there's that. Now, next thing I need to do is, I don't know how well you can see this on here. Next thing I need to do is rough in the characters. And as you can see what happens here, in the page that went up yesterday, Nega Sam has killed this little rat thing for food for the little bug girl. Now she's offering it to her. Bug girl was going to break out in tears. She killed it. So Nega Sam said, your loss. She's going to tuck in. While Bug Girl turns around and sees a light off in the distance, a little house. Bug Girl's going to point to us, I want to go over there. And so they go off, and we have some nefarious baddies down here who have been watching the whole thing. And they'll be in shadow. So, yeah, first thing I gotta do is rough this out. So these two shots need to be basically the same. So I'm going to start over here to get kid's got a big mouth. And then Nega Sam is going to be over here, and she's going to be kind of really. Now, this rough of Nega Sam may look a lot like Sam, but that's because, well, it's supposed to be Sam's evil clone. So without the color, it should look a lot like Sam. There, now it looks a lot like Sam. And I see we have a, oh, hey Dave, how you doing? Glad you could join me. My good friend. For those of you who are watching on the repeat feed, just popped in and said hello. So there he is. And all right, so this is going to kind of give me an idea of the placement. And as you see, I'm not putting a lot of detail in here at this point. I'm probably going to rework this whole her arm, because it just I just need to basically get the eye line set and get an idea of where those are going to be and where the characters are going to be in relation to the framing. And there's our little sword in here. Yeah, I'll rework the arm a little later, a little better there. I'm doing good, Dave. Doing good. It's been an interesting day, but we'll talk about that a little later, because this is being recorded by YouTube and will be made available for everybody to see. So, so anyway, if you do have any questions, go ahead and pop them in there. And yeah, you hear, and I think you know which one that is too. You do hear the clicking of a dog's nails, and I think you know exactly who it is. Okay, so now that I know where she's going to be and where she's going to be, I can kind of rough that in. The big eyes, and then the face that's about to explode into tears. And so how's except for the vertical bars going up and down, how's the video looking and sounding? Because I can't hear it if I turn on the monitor for the sound. It's gonna feed back, so I don't. That's the last thing that I want. So how's it looking and sounding? And of course, it's going to take a while for you to hear that and type a response, because there's at least a 10-second delay, latency in YouTube. But you know, that's the price we pay, I suppose, for the modern conveniences, the wonderful modern world we live in. Better living through technology. Okay, so I'm going to work this over here, and then her expression is going to be more like you know what? I'm gonna have to be right back, because I hear somebody getting into trouble, and they don't need to be. So I will be right back. Get out of there. Come on. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, somebody taking advantage of some unguarded garbage. Yeah, the pencils will probably be looking faint because they are. I mean, they're faint here to me. I really haven't. I'll go through here in just a moment and kind of darken these up a little bit. And get some detail on them. The audio, okay, audio sounds good. I'm probably for a final setup for this, because I want to. This was very spur of the moment, so there's only 2 people watching, and that's you, Dave, and me, um, uh, monitoring my transmission, as it were. So, I mean, I really just kind of threw this together. This is a test. This was a test to see how this is going to work, and the things like, like the lights and things like that. So, um, I'm not this. I mean, I would like for there to be more than just 2 people, but the fact that another person is actually able to see this at all is astounding. So I can't complain there. So unfortunately, all of it's going to count towards my final grade. Okay, so now I've got these 2 roughed in. So I think I'm going to try actually putting more of the detail in here, so we can see what that's going to look like on camera. When I designed this character, I never should have given her that stupid Doctor Who scarf, because now I've got to go back and put it in every single panel that she's in. I have to go and color that bloody scarf. What was I thinking? Well, I know what I was thinking. I was thinking Doctor Who. That I'll put a little Doctor Who reference in there. Well, all right. Let's see. Oh, that's showing up a little better. That's showing up a lot better, actually. Once I, because this is actually what I normally do. I mean, this is not just doing this just for the video. Normally, this is my actual usual procedure, is to go in after doing a very light, very rough frame in here, to actually go in and then add the detail and darken it up, like things like you can see I've got her her actual expression in here, and she's got these little ridges over her eyes that I didn't put in that the rough. So this stage really burns up the pencils. Let me tell you, this stage really does, because these pencils are very, very soft, which is why I like them, because I can get a lot of color and weight on the line. But on the other hand, I have to buy them by the dozen when I buy them. So yeah, towards my final grade, because everything in life gets graded by somebody. Now, if you notice, I just put an X right there on Nega Sam's hair, and there's a reason for that, and I'll explain that in just a moment. And put another one right there. That is to remind me that when the time comes and I ink this, that those areas are going to be painted in black. That is a process called spotting the blacks, and actually, you know, it's actually one of my favorite parts of doing the inking. Is it's a very kind of Zen sort of thing. Just, you know, you're just sitting there and you're just filling in the black areas. Now, I could do it digitally. Yeah, I could do it digitally. But, like I said, there's just something very satisfying about, well, for me anyway. And you see, it's really worn the pencil down. Just what I've done here, and I haven't put in any detail on the background or anything else yet. That's just outlining the main characters. No, there isn't. What I do, that won't be determined on about the color. For those of you playing along at home, T'Challa just asked, is there any mark like I did up here with spotting in the blacks for the colors on her scarf? No, and that pretty much applies to all the colors. What I do with that's done during the coloring process on the computer. I try to match up the order of these little stripes here as I can by pulling the colors off of previously done panels. So that way I know what my the red that I need, the blue, the green, and the yellow, and then there's the beige for the base itself. But there is no order, and you'll actually see, just because I didn't go and really do it very well, the color order jumps around, and you really can't see it because the print just came out so dark. But Let's see if I can. The print came out. The printing came out dark because I used the wrong paper. I needed to use the photo paper rather than this cardstock. So that's why it's so dull. But you can see there's green, there's a yellow right there, there's a red, there's a blue. So I painted this a base of beige, and I'm just really appalled by how bad that printout came out. Yikes. Okay, here you can see a little better here. This is where I first colored her. Oh yeah, this is the right paper. This is the glossy photo paper. All right. Let me put my eyes back on so I can actually see what I'm doing here on the monitor. Okay, there we go. All right, you can see that I just kind of did an order. I just colored them, and then down here, which is the next one, I tried to match the two as best as I could for continuity's sake. So I try to keep the continuity the same page to page, on the same page. Page to page, it's not going to work as well because I'm fighting with different angles and things like that. Usually on a same page, the character will be at basically at the same angle. So yeah, I know autofocus is the camera is not a well. I mean, it's amazing that it's actually able to focus. To be honest with you, because it's such a short throw. It's like maybe a foot. Oh, well, actually, I actually have a ruler. I can actually see it's 13 inches of space. So being able to put that up there that close and it to autofocus is actually quite astounding. But anyway, so long answer from me, go fig, to a very simple question. And in terms of the color for you going from page to page, I just would load up this page, for example, in Photoshop, and then load up the next page and use there's a tool in Photoshop called the eyedropper, so I can go and basically pick up the color right there and bring it over to this page and start coloring in there. So there that is. Pencil sharpeners are your friend. I wouldn't even want to do this job if I didn't have an electric pencil sharpener. It's just, I'm doing this with a manual pencil sharpener. Just forget it. Forget it. I would rather, I don't know. I have no idea what I would rather do than, I'd rather do almost anything than do cartooning with a manual pencil sharpener, because I use it so much. It's just, and it's got to be the right kind too. That's the problem with pencil sharpeners these days, is that there's most pencil sharpeners are very cheap, and it's basically they have a razor blade in a stuck on the end of a motor. And those things are awful. They're horrible. And they're cheap too. They are so cheap. I could do a whole show on pencil sharpeners, I think. And if I keep rambling, I might. This one has a burr. It's like the old-fashioned ones that you would have at school, where it has the grinders that rotate around on planetary gear, actually, to use the technical term. And those are more robust and they give a better result in terms of the sharpened pencil. One of the problems I always had with the ones with the razor blades is that it would tend to break the lead inside the pencil. So, and as you can, I don't know if it's really coming across in the video or not, but when I'm putting in the detail in here, I'm really bearing down on this. I'm putting a lot of pressure on it, and the last thing I need is for that to be broken off inside the pencil, and then all of a sudden the lead just comes out because I put so much pressure on it that the little nub has worked its way out, and it just comes out. That's very annoying. Drives me nuts. All right. So now, I think this expression is one of my favorite expressions to draw. Lenny does it, Sam does it, Alex does it. Every character that I've created does this kind of aside to the camera, like, really? Look. Well, in pre-electric pencil sharpener days, cartoonists could afford to hire an assistant to go and sharpen their damn pencils for them. That's how they did it. Al Cap never sharpened pencils. He had assistants do that for him. George Harriman never sharpened pencils. That was for the assistant to do. There we go. No, but he had I remember seeing the video that Erica shot of his studio, Jack Davis's studio. There was a big Boston office pencil sharpener, and it looked like it had been there. He had that for years and years and years. And knowing Jack, he probably did. I mean, he probably sharpened the pencils to draw the "It's a Mad, 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 Mad World" poster with that thing. It looked like like I said, one of those, a big industrial job from the 60s. It looked like it would be, in the back of the office of Mad Men. It was just big, burly, manly pencil sharpener. And it was just, it was the 60s pencil sharpener. And I just realized I need to add another arm. I need to do something with her arm in this one. So I'm going to finish this up first. And then figure out where I'm going to place her arm. Oh yeah, that's right. It is Frank Fruzetta's birthday. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, Fruzetta, go sharpen pencils. Amazing story about Frank Frazetta. This just astounds me. He late in his career, I mean, at the height of his career, he had a stroke. He had a massive stroke, and he lost the ability to use the right side of his body. He was right-handed. He lost the ability to use the right side of his body. He went and trained himself to draw and paint exactly the way he did with his left side of his body. And this, like I said, this was at the height of his career. And I tell you, you could not tell whether this was done with the right or the left hand. Just absolutely stunning. Oh, you know what? Talking about Al Cap, the guy was just mean enough. He probably did tell Frazetta to go sharpen his pencils. He was one mean SOB. He was. Go look at the if you ever get a chance, go read up about Al Cap and Ham Fisher and what he did to Ham Fisher. Now, Ham Fisher, crossed the line quite a bit, but he made the mistake of crossing the line with Al Cap, and he literally drove Ham Fisher. Ham Fisher was the creator of Joe Palooka. Literally drove him to suicide. Literally drove him to suicide. Al Cap was one mean SOB. He really was. It was a brilliant cartoonist. Horrible human being. Absolutely horrible human being. Okay. Now, as I said, I need to excuse me. Take a drink of my handy carbonated beverage. I have no idea what they put in that drink. It is not Coca-Cola. Zaxby's, which is where I got dinner from, they put one in one of those things that Coke's pushing on everybody now that has like 400 flavors and does none of them right. Yeah, and I just want a Coke. I just want a Coca-Cola. It's all I want. I don't want any flavors. I don't want any of this. I don't want any of that. I just want a Coca-Cola. 400 different beverages, and none of them are mixed properly. Yeah, Ham Fisher was. He's the only person ever to be thrown out of the National Cartoonist Society for. I don't know if they actually called it conduct unbecoming a cartoonist, but one of the requirements for being in the National Cartoonist Society is, in addition to being a professional cartoonist, you have to be of upstanding character, and that's what they got him on, because there was a dispute between Fisher and Cap. Where Al Cap had been Ham Fisher's assistant, and there was a character that was in Ham and Joe Palooka when Cap was working for Fisher, called Big Leviticus, who was a hillbilly, and Ham Fisher claimed that Al Cap had stolen Big Leviticus for Little Abner. Now the similarities end there. I mean, they were both hillbillies. There was as much similarity between Little Abner and Big Leviticus as there was between Big Leviticus and Snuffy Smith. But what happened? Joe Palooka was a very popular strip, and then. Little Abner came along and basically stole all of the audience from Joe Palooka, and that just stuck in in Ham Fisher's craw, and he had this vendetta against Al Cap. Well, unfortunately, he picked the wrong person to have a vendetta against, because Al Cap was not the type to turn the other cheek. Al Cap, Al Cap literally was a one-legged ass-kicking machine. And he literally was. He had one leg. He had lost his leg in a trolley accident when he was a kid. He was a teenager. He lost one of his legs. So he literally was just, busier than a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest. And he did. He would take things personally. He would anyway. So the feud just kept getting bigger and bigger, and at one point, and this was the final straw, Ham Fisher sent a package of pictures to the syndicate that syndicated Little Abner. I think it was King. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one. Which supposedly pointed out some pornographic drawings that Cap had hidden in the artwork of the strips that went out. And they had been, the drawings had been crudely altered by Fisher. It was obvious that they were, and so the only time a court of inquiry was convened by the National Cartoonist Society was done, and Ham Fisher was thrown out, and that was pretty much right at the end of his career, and he literally had very little else to go to, and he took his life. And there's a biography of Al Cap that's really, I've been wanting to read it. My friend Tom Heiches read it, and it was told me it was very good. Tom Heiches, the editor of Hogan's Alley, for those of you playing at home, my good friend, and he it said it was really good. And I really want to read it. But yeah, it's an amazing story. And this is in the day when when cartoonists were celebrities, like they were like movie stars. These guys made the equivalent of $1 million a year or more. These guys were they were the stars of. They were like showrunners on TV shows, but even more so because there was, I know who Ron Moore is. He was the showrunner on Battlestar Galactica, but I know that because I'm a fan of that. But he, it was like as if, Tom Cruise was the showrunner on a show. Tom Cruise is famous in and of his own right, and then he's running the shows all coming out of his imagination. That's the way these guys were back then. And then this very public scandal really just kind of it was just something that is hard to imagine happening these days, because we're not rock stars unless you're Bill Watterson. Maybe Jim Davis. I mean, people know the name Bill Watterson. They know the name. The average person knows the name. They may know the name Jim Davis. I mean, they definitely know Garfield, but they may know the name Jim Davis. Yes, that's the one. Al Cap, A Life to the Contrary, by Michael Schumacher and Dennis Kitchen. That is the book. Dennis Kitchen, by the way, is a friend of Tom's. He's a longtime publisher. Started out publishing alternative comics from like Crumb and Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers. I'm drawing a blank on Gilbert Shelton. There we go, and Spain Rodriguez and people like that. He came out of that, and Kitchen Sink Press was a big publisher of books. In fact, he did a whole bunch of Nancy books. But anyway, yes, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, Underground Comics. That's it. Underground, right? Oh boy, I need to do more show prep. My show prep for this one just sucks. But then again, this was spur of the moment. This really was, and it's more of a technology test than anything else. Yep, Zap Comics number 0. We were at a show this Sunday, and I saw one. I thought, I've always wanted a copy of Zap number 0, but I just can't afford it right now. I would love to be able to afford one of these days. All right, so back to cartooning. Back to the cartooning. So I've got pretty much my 2 panels up here. Let me pull this around here and put it down here. As you can see, I like the hopeful grin on Nega Sam's face here, and then just completely squashed here. That's kind of a Lenny look. It really is. And then, I know what I need. I need these big Nancy teardrops here. These big crocodile tears just going out in every direction. Yeah, that's very Ernie Bushmiller right there. The big. Mark that one out, but I won't ink that one because I want these all straight, because these are big crocodile tears. There we go. I didn't even look. I didn't even look to see how much that copy of Zap was. I just knew that it was it was out of my my $15 range. I knew that because I just didn't have that much money with me. I went because it's a tradition that Tom Heinches and I have. We go to this comic show, and it's always on Super Bowl Sunday, and we always go over there and just hang out, because neither of us are into football, even though it was the Falcons in the Super Bowl. I'm not a big football fan, but anyway. So, I still got to do something with her arm. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of pencil in her, and then. Well, you see a little bit of hint of her arm over here on this side. And I think what I'll do is I'll just kind of have it kind of back here. And then have her fingers, the hand poking out on this side. Sharpen that up for the elbow there, and then put a little there for that muscle right there, whatever that's called. I forgot what that's called. I think this was like a second printing. Oh well. Um, as I said, it was. I really didn't. I'd already kind of spent my allocation on a Coke because it was at a hotel, so the Coke, the price of the Cokes was just ridiculous. Okay, so I'm going to add some foliage in the background, but what I may do with that, since these two are supposed to be basically the continuous shot, is do this in the computer so that I can paint this and then take that whole background, copy it, paste it in here, and it matches up identically. So I think that's what I'm going to do, just to kind of make that the gag work the way it's supposed to. It's supposed to be, two halves of the same shot in terms of film. Speaking of, excuse me. Speaking of, let's see. Let me go over here to this. Speaking of Hogan's Alley, which I was just a moment ago, there will be an ad for Accidental Centaurs in the next Hogan's Alley, which will be out soon, this spring. And let's see, come on, open up. And I'm looking for, there it is. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, well, I was going to show it, but I can't. I don't have it in a format that Mimo, which is my my video software, likes. So I can't. Well, actually, I can show this. And there we go. That is going to be part of the new marquee image for Accidental Centaurs, featuring year 2 of the story. And there's Alex from the new marquee image. Yes, Hogan's Alley is a great magazine. There's going to be a really great story in there. It's a never-before-seen interview with George Harriman, the creator of Crazy Cat. Harriman did not do very many did not do very many interviews, and this is one that has been sitting in a vault at a university since 1937, I think, is what Tom said. And there's some pictures that have never been seen before. So this is going to be a really good issue. Let's see, it looks good. Yes, raising a lot of questions about what happened. Things are looking more futuristic. Well, they're looking a little more modern. Futuristic is, I don't know if that's the right word. Oops, spoilers. Oops. Yeah, I got a big story arc coming up that I'm planning, and um, and this is a new character. I teased these on Facebook the other day. I don't know you can really make it out, but the folder that she's reading, or that she's got in her hand right there. Isn't that cool how you can do that? Like right there. It says Standard Integrated Operating Plan, Operational Plan, which is well, it was it was the standard war plan for the United States for nuclear weapons, and so that's not good. And also, I don't know if you can see there in that size of an image, but she's got 4 stars, and that means the same thing over there. There is, and there is a big jump, and it actually started teasing that in in the story that I did. Here it is. In this story, I actually teased that, and in fact, that was actually the reason that I did this story, was to set that up with the gizmo. There are a lot of things that are set up in here. Read the dialogue. There's some very important clues in there. There's also some very anyway. But there's some important clues in here, and the purpose of this story was to set up things that will be paid off in the story in year 2 of Accidental Centaurs. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you need to, that are very, 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 very important for the story. So it wasn't just a filler. There actually was a very specific purpose for this story. So do you have one of these? I don't remember if you've got one of these or not. Let's see. I'm going to get back to drawing here in a moment. A couple of other goodies. Oh man, Got a cramp in my hand. Boy, I hate it when that happens. I don't know if you could tell what this is. But here, let me get a little closer here. If you can, this might be able to see a little bit better. It looks like oh well, enough of that. You know, if Carrie was here, she'd at this point she'd smack me on the back of the head. Stop doing that. That's not nice. Be nice. But he loves it when I hope he loves it when I tease, because he doesn't get that pissed off and keeps coming back. Anyway. Yeah, but it's not just the first story. It's in screenplay form. Why would there be a script in screenplay form? I wonder. Yes. Yeah, thanks, Carrie. There you go, Carrie. You got somebody looking out for you down here. Oh, boy. So, I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off this for the night. I think it's been a pretty successful test. Wait a minute, what line is that for? Oh, it's from Ghostbusters. That's right. When they destroyed the cleaning woman's cart. Well, I'd say it was a pretty successful test. But anyway, so for those of you who are watching this on the replay on YouTube, I'm probably going to start doing this on a regular basis. If nothing else, it gets me at the drawing table and gets me moving on and getting this stuff done. So I think that's going to. I think we're going to close it out here for tonight. Actually, been on the air for an hour. Amazing how time flies when you're rambling, which is pretty much why time seems to go fast for me. But anyway, I think that's going to do for tonight. So, from all of us here at stately Lotshaw Manor, I'm going to bid you a good night.